cold.
Now, as girls, like I think everyone may have like a list or two.
You're shining, by the way. You look great.
That white.
Yes,
glorious. You better have a good story.
Thank you. Unfortunately, it's a tragic story. But it starts with, you know, we talk about it all the time, even with Dana. Everyone maybe might have something they would like to enhance about their body. And I think it's live and let live if you'd like to. But unfortunately, there's an increased number of people who are maybe going to the wrong surgeons and having unlicensed people do their work. So this is the story of June Wanza. She is a lifestyle blogger. And she went to an unknown surgeon. This is in Galleria Mall in Karen. And she went there for breast enlargement. But unfortunately, it was botched, and this caused an infection in her intestines. And once she was taken to the hospital in Nairobi, unfortunately, they couldn't save her life. The infection had just gone too fast, and they just couldn't save her life. So unfortunately, she's lost her life. And this is tragic because, I mean, nobody, even though she may not have gone the right way, of course she did not intend for this to happen. Absolutely not. Let me just read the receipt. So June Wanza is still talk on social media after she died last week in a botched surgery conducted by an unidentified surgeon that left her with complications. Wanza, a mother of 3, is said to have gone for a breast enlargement surgery at the clinic in Galleria Mall, Karen, where the procedure was carried out. When she complained of abdominal pain, she was rushed to Nairobi Hospital, but the pain worsened and was immediately admitted to the high dependency unit, then the ICU. Doctors at Nairobi Hospital discovered Wanza's intestines had been cut or punctured during the augmentation procedure, and her blood pressure was dangerously low. I feel awful. One, she's a mother of 3, and so those kids are left without a mom over something maybe perhaps could have been avoided had this been like a licensed doctor, because I mean breast augmentations, I mean breast enlargements, they happen all the time. But unfortunately this one ended pretty ugly, and I just feel bad. Like honestly, I just feel awful. But it does highlight an issue because this story, there's a girl who's willing to do just about anything to get that procedure, and this highlights the consequences, how bad it can actually get if you don't go through the right channels.
I think the thing is, obviously, if you can't tell, I was not born with this skin, but I'm clearly a big proponent in body modification. You know, do what you need to do, you know, to make yourself feel as good as you want to feel. But what I will say, as someone who has gotten like the cheap tattoos before I started when I was really young, you learn the hard lesson of like, good modifications are not cheap, and cheap modifications are not good.
Right.
And frankly, it should have been a red flag. Of course, there are like clinics and hospitals even that can handle sort of minor things in the middle of a mall, but I've never heard of anyone giving a baby in the middle of a mall. You know, you have to go somewhere that doesn't raise these red flags.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is if she's a lifestyle blogger and she was devoting her life to this, you could invest more in what you know is going to be an investment. Because the same with my tattoos, I understand that this was an investment in the way that I looked and how I wanted to be perceived. So it's unfortunate that all parties involved couldn't work together to predict what was happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see, how does a doctor be so incompetent to the point where during a breast augmentation, where it's in the chest, he perforated her intestines?
How do you even know he's a
I think
registered doctor?
I think when it comes to unprofessionals making money out here, it's happening not just in Kenya, but it's happening. We've heard of these stories in Asian countries. We've heard of them in South American countries. For me, I think the silver lining of this story is before you go under the knife and even just think of enhancing whatever it is that you feel uncomfortable with, you're going to think twice about it. Because people need to understand that the psychological, the monetary price for this is it's really too high. It's unfortunate, may her soul rest in peace. But I also wanted to bring about the issue of the world we're living in, and the vanity and the cost that people are willing to pay to just get those alterations done. And half the time people, when they talk about how they feel and how less beautiful they feel, and I need to enhance this, I need to do this, some of us can't even see it. Girl, you were beautiful. I mean, I don't understand what you're talking about. There's something that happened to me after I had children. I became more selfless. It was more of an awakening. And I'm a little disappointed that after 3 children, there was a little bit of that. But there's also women who, after having kids, that's when the self-esteem, it goes really low because, you know, you tend to feel I'm not the way I was when I was younger. I just want to encourage moms out there. And, you know, we're built to repair and to repair in a beautiful way. There's no way I'm going to look the way I looked when I was 24. But I feel it starts from knowing your self-worth and loving yourself that much, knowing yourself and understanding that you need to do proper research. You know, there's nothing that can compensate a life, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I'm very particular about where I go, where I eat, how I do things. And I like that you pointed out lifestyle blogger. Everyone's looking at this and reading it and going like, whoa, how could this go so wrong? But there is something to learn here. She's not the first. These things are happening around the world. But I think that we need to really keep telling ourselves these affirmations and reminding ourselves, you know what, you're worth it, you're everything, you're this. Who knows where that stemmed from? But it's quite unfortunate to hear that happened.